Hi, buenas noches. Welcome to the FayWhat show. FayWhat! So our show's mission is to entertain, educate, and unite our community with real-life topics in a safe, positive, and fun environment. Because together we win and divided we fall! You know it. So our table topics are human topics. They're LGBTQ plus topics, conversations that need to be had, and we aren't afraid to have them here on the FayWhat show. So our community has fought for LGBTQ plus rights for almost a century, and we have only seen measurable movements in the last decades. I think it was back in 1924 that Henry Gerber, a German immigrant, founded the Society for Human Rights, and it was the first documented gay rights organization in the United States ever, fighting not only for gay rights, but for human rights, because gay rights are that, human rights. LGBTQ plus have to take legal actions for so many things that heterosexual people take for granted. Changing your name, adoption to start a family, immigration issues, just to name a few. So today we will highlight some of these actions and discuss them with our guest, Nora Rotella from Rotella and Hernandez Law, who have helped many in our community pro bono. So you know that God has like a bunch of check marks next to both their names. Good, good, good. And of course, our show is not complete ever without a silly or funny segment to end the conversation with laughter. And this week's the funniest gay pride shirts. You know who you are. I took a picture of you at Gay Pride. That is funny as hell. And now it's going to be on the show. So let's get started. Born and raised in Miami, Florida, to Cuban parents, from a young age, they instilled in our guest the importance of education and hard work. She admires their sacrifice, and that was her drive to help others. Nora Rotella is co-owner of Rotella and Hernandez Law, a prominent law firm in Miami, to further her goals of helping families across Florida and beyond. She has represented countless individuals in divorce proceedings, child custody disputes, child support hearings, relocations, modifications, domestic violence injunctions, temporary custody by extended family members. The list goes on and on and on. Welcome to our show, Miss Nora Rotella.
Why, thank you, Faye. That was amazing. Thank you so much for that introduction.
How are you, Mamita? Thank you so much for saying yes.
I'm a little bit tired, but happy to be here. I know that I'll be home soon enough and getting some much needed rest.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So first of all, your wife is a wonderful person, as you are.
She is.
I had the pleasure of meeting your wife, Patricia, first. How did you decide whose name would go first at the law firm? Like, did you say, okay, you know what, you didn't clean the dishes, my name goes first?
You know, funny enough, when Patty and I started our practice, we weren't a couple just yet. And we had decided that it just rolled a little bit better, the Rotella at the front versus the Hernandez. But she fights me all the time to try to change it around and maybe make it Hernandez and Rotella. But, you know, till this day, it's still Rotella and Hernandez. I'm trying to convince her to take my last name, so we'll see.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, Nora, when did you and your wife see that our community needed your help, like in so many ways?
So, quite frankly, in the beginning, when Patty and I opened our practice in 2013, Patty has always been a huge proponent and advocate for LGBTQ plus rights. I came on board with her, and we both have a passion for helping especially low-income individuals in getting proper representation in court proceedings. So we've been in this fight for quite some time. You know, one of our pioneers here in the community, Elizabeth Schwartz, had reached out to us in 2015 for assistance on an adoption case, a same-sex adoption case. And we really kind of jumped right in full force with her guidance and obviously those of others. Our mission has been to help the LGBTQ plus community in all aspects of the law. So Patty represents a lot of individuals in immigration proceedings, whether it's a gay asylum or we're talking about transgender rights in detention facilities. I have advocated for individuals in family court for their name and gender marker change, also step-parent adoptions, divorce. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we really have made it a mission from very early on to help those in our community because we like to give back.
Oh, and you have, honey, and you do. And, you know, if it weren't for people like
Thank
you,
you,
there'd
Faye.
be so many people stuck in that red tape, hon. You know, like when you think about, when I think about, I can only talk for myself. When I think about just legal proceedings, like anything, it's like, oh, I can't, I can't read the fine print, and all that just makes me crazy. So instead of like going to court to, fight a ticket, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to pay for it because I can't, So you spoke about gender markers and like changing your name and stuff like that on your driver's license. As a trans individual or someone in the LGBTQ community, is that something that you need legal help with?
I strongly suggest that you do seek some guidance from an attorney to help you navigate a name change, gender marker change. I know that there are some free clinics around town. Obviously, there are attorneys like myself, Liz Schwartz, who I mentioned a moment ago, who help individuals on a pro bono basis to get this process done. Name changes are governed by Florida law. So there is a statute that tells us what needs to be included in this type of petition. We do get some pushback from time to time, depending on what division we land and who the judge is. I hate to say this, but unfortunately, there are some judges who are not as open-minded as others. The gender marker change has become issues at times. So it's strongly recommended that you have an attorney on your side, making sure that the paperwork is properly filed. When you're doing a name change as well, if you're an adult, you're going to need to do some fingerprints. If you're a minor, your parents are going to have to sign off on that paperwork. Sometimes parents are not on the same page, so that creates a whole nother level of difficulty. So again, I tell people this all the time. Don't engage in do-it-yourself projects when it comes to your legal situations. Reach out to an attorney. There's plenty of us in the community that's willing to help the individuals on a pro bono or even low bono basis.
So like keep the DIY projects to Pinterest.
Yes. Perhaps maybe do a little shed work in the back, fix your garage.
The she shed.
Yes, the she shed. Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about politics, only a little bit. How do you think, Nora, that the LGBTQ plus cases have changed any from the last administration to this, as in from Cheeto Head, that I'm not even going to say his name because I still have PTSD every time I see a big truck drive by me, versus our Mr. LGBTQ himself, Joe Biden?
Well, definitely you're going to see a change in the way that people think and some of our rulings. We did just get a ruling in 2020 at the end of, I think in the summer of 2020, if I'm not mistaken, with regards to employment discrimination, and that individuals can't be, or employees rather, I should say, should not be or cannot be discriminated based on either their sexual orientation or their gender identity. So you kind of you always see a bit of a shift in the way the courts rule and the way that things happen. Obviously, having an administration that is LGBTQ friendly, there's going to be a change in dynamics in my opinion, a change in the way that the courts typically rule. So, I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to answer as politically as I can, as to not insult or stray away anyone, whether they're on either side of the coin.
You're so sweet, Miss Nora. Don't worry.
I try.
Leave the insulting to me.
I will do so.
Right? So the T, I think, are the most marginalized in our community. What have you encountered with our transgender brothers and sisters? How much does it really truly cost to be who you really are on paper?
So when it comes to transgender individuals, the hurdles of really getting your gender marker change, I think is the biggest thing, especially what I see in family court. Like I was mentioning before, we unfortunately have some judges on the bench who are not as open-minded as others. And we do have situations where we get pushback or denials of a gender marker identity request. And unfortunately, that's a life-changing thing. The fact that you are a resident of the great state of Florida and that you are somehow turned away or turned down or denied the right to be who you are. That's why I say, and I'll say it again, it's very important that transgender individuals have proper representation and an advocate on their side. There is, unlike the name change, gender marker changes is something that's not created by law. It's not part of our laws right now. So if you have a judge who is of the mentality that if it's not specifically laid out that they could do it, then you're going to get a denial. But then there's other ways to get creative and get the job done. So that's really, in my opinion, what I see the most happening in the family law arena with transgender.
Do you feel that you get more pushback than your male counterparts?
That's a great question.
That's a great breath that you took before that. Like, just because I look at you and it's like, I'm blessed enough to I've been able to sit with you and break bread, and we've had great conversations. You're, an incredibly interesting woman. You're super intelligent. Your conversations are incredible. And I could see like a man, a cisgender white man, just kind of like, who does this little girl think she is,
And you're absolutely right, Faye. I've encountered a lot of that throughout my 10 years in this career. I've been called a court reporter. I got yelled at one time for going to sit where the attorneys were by a bailiff who, till this day, when he sees me, he's super apologetic because he felt terrible about it. But, yes, I do think, in my opinion, I have experienced a little bit of that, but I'm perfectly fine with it. I move on. I'm there to do a job for the client. It's not about me. It's about them. So
that's my girl, like Teflon. You let that just slide right off you.
Vaselina.
Vaselina, mi amor, Vaselina.
Vaselina.
So Nora, we suffer, unfortunately, lots of domestic violence in our community. And during quarantine, there was more than ever, many times without report. What can someone in our community do if they are in this predicament legally?
So there's a number of things that could be done. And I always emphasize the importance, if you are in a relationship where there is violence, whether it's physical violence or emotional violence, reach out to the cops. Sometimes people are afraid to call the police, especially those that are undocumented, for fear that they too will get picked up. However, that's step number one. Step number two, there are a number of centers across our county that assist victims of domestic violence. There's a place down on US 1 and 24th Avenue. It's called the Coordinated Assistance Victim Center, so people refer to it as CVAC. That's a place where individuals who have experienced violence could go and get some help, get some guidance, therapy. They sometimes even provide funding so that these individuals can obtain different housing. And just know that the courts are open and have been open throughout the pandemic for filing petitions for protection, for injunctions against domestic violence, sexual violence, repeat violence, you name it, they're available. And I strongly encourage, if there's someone who is living in a situation where they're in fear for their life, they've been the victim of either a battery or assault, or they've been withheld from leaving their home, reach out for help, call 911, and at a minimum, get out there and get yourself to court and file something.
Get some kind of report out there.
Yep.
We were talking before a little bit about workplace rights, right? So does our community, as in all the letters in our acronym, now have workplace rights, as in like they can't be discriminated against for their sexual identity, etc.? If someone is, like a 2020 study shows that transgender people frequently experience overt discrimination by healthcare providers, from being denied care to being verbally harassed. And, is there something like that you can, what would make up a good case? How can someone go about reporting someone that was treating them in this kind of a way?
Well, I'm going to speak as to what I know on this topic. I'm not a discrimination attorney or employment discrimination attorney, but from what I would suggest, in my very basic understanding of this area of the law, is obviously you want to document everything. Okay, there has to be a paper trail. There has to be a way for you to prove that these things are happening. Sometimes it's as simple as perhaps sending an email and saying, this is to confirm our conversation today where you did X, Y, and Z. Again, I know that there are plenty of attorneys that practice in this area who are willing to help those in our community. I know that the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Lawyers Association has a great group of attorneys that practice in all different areas of the law. And I suggest that, go online, look for them, reach out to them, and they could probably provide better guidance than what I'm saying here today.
But that's a lead, honey, and this
Yeah.
may be the only information that someone in our community gets. So
Right.
your words are valid and important, and I thank you for them. So Nora, we've had marriage rights for quite some time, so that means that ugly, bad, dirty word, divorce. Are you
Yes.
seeing more of that these days? Are we having like issues with parenting laws, with adoption, with that kind of stuff? Are we having a lot of those issues as the heteros?
I would say it's probably right about even. I don't think that uh, uh, homosexual couples are having less divorce than heterosexual couples. I'd say they're probably right on track. COVID has really done a number to the family unit. I personally have seen an increase in business, both divorce cases, cases where people are coming back to court for modifications, for contempt, on issues of parenting, on issues of support. So there's a lot of litigation going on right now in family court. Since the start of the pandemic, I'll never forget, I was there on March 13th when everything came to a screeching halt. About 2 weeks later, we were back on Zoom, and we haven't stopped. I haven't stopped, and the court hasn't stopped. I mean, there have been hearings after hearings to try to resolve these issues for families. But to answer your question, Faye, short and sweet, I'd say they're both, neck to neck on the divorce rate.
Okay, so I'm lastly, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know that you are a very busy girl. So I
A little
mean, I
bit.
know that you and your wifey do pro bono work, your own work at the firm. You're a part of Aqua Foundation. What else? Where do you see you and your firm doing or taking over? Dream big in 10 years. Now, dream big because the universe is listening.
Sure. So obviously my dream would be to grow our firm, bring in some associates, get them on board with our mission, which is to help individuals like us, and really further our goal of bringing access to the courts to everyone. Unfortunately, those who don't have the ability to hire a full priced attorney, it's really hard to get a fair shot in court. Um, so when I dream big, I dream in 10 years, I'm going to be kicking up my feet, having maybe two or three associates working underneath me and making sure that they're following instructions and following our mission of helping others.
I love it. I love it. And you're going to accomplish that and much, much more. Nora, thank you so much for being on the show today, Mamita. I love you and your wife. Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
the
Faye. We love you too.
strong representations of our community. I mean, every time I see you, you have a big ass smile on your face, no matter how hot it is here in South Florida. And, you and your wife here are just the cutest little couple ever. So I know I'm going to drag you guys back on the show sometime. So prepárate.
I will be, I'm preparada. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Faye. You take care of yourself. I'm happy to be on the show.
Thank you, honey. So you guys make sure that you check out Nora on all her social media outlets, and also support Rotella and Hernandez Law Firm here in Miami. They are doing great things for our community, and we've got to take care of those who do for us. I mean, and that firm, respectively, that's just what they do. They have our backs. So don't forget, family, that if you like what you're watching, tell others and subscribe. Ring the bell and share, share, share. Okay, that's what it's all about. So, and now the part of the show where we let it all hang out. Wait a minute. Did it fall out? No, 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 it didn't fall out. Okay. Whew. I always think that. The funniest gay pride shirts revisited. Sounds like an unplugged concert or something, right? Here we go. First gay pride shirt. Being straight was my phase. Oh, that's so true. I was straight for close to 11 years. Like from born to 11. That was a very long phase. Next. The only choice I made was to be myself. Yeah, and myself is perfect. Whoever's wearing that shirt, I love it. Next, Pride 2021, the one where we were all quarantined. Yeah, we might be getting there again. Get vaccinated. Next, donuts are just gay bagels. Totally true, but no gay on a diet would ever eat either one. You didn't see me with all those donuts last night, right? Next, come to the gay side. We have rainbows. And we have a lot better shoes, too. Next, I'm the rainbow sheep of the family. If you think you're the only one, you're not, okay? Look around. There's always another one of us. In Thanksgiving, Look around the table. There's at least another homo there. They're just not telling it yet. Next, I find you lack of pride disturbing. Pride enough, homosexuals. I like that shirt. Next, the gay bone is connected to the les bone. Sing it. The gay bone's connected to the les bone. Okay, I don't need to say more, and I am not going to sing anymore. And that was the best pride shirt revisited. So you have an idea or a story that you want to share? We'd love to hear all about it. Cuéntanos. It might be featured in one of our upcoming segments of the FayWhat Show. Send them our way on our Instagram page at FayWhat YouTube or email us at info@faywhat.com. What a great show. I have to thank the incredible Nora Rotella for just being such an incredible presence. Qué linda, ¿verdad? Like what? It's like I love this little family that we've put together of these inspiring individuals in our community, our allies, our helpers. And those behind the scenes we could never forget about because I can't do any of this without them. The most handsomest man in the room, my producer, my director, Luisito Flores, and the other handsome man in the room, his husband, Mr. David Fernandez, our project manager that makes sure that everything goes smoothly, and all of you for letting us do our thing every week. It really means a lot. You allow us to be ourselves, and that's incredible. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like us on YouTube, Facebook, and IG, and tell your friends. So this is the time in the show where I tell our viewers my personal thoughts on the show topic. But today, I'm a bit angry, and I can't stay quiet about it. So I'm angry. I rarely get angry. Okay, I get angry a lot. But I'm extra angry now. How about that? You know, we had this virus under control, people. We were down to a few cases a day, empty emergency rooms, and we felt free again. I got a vaccination the second day it was available to protect my family and others. Mind you, I had just had a double mastectomy 3 days before. I wasn't concerned about the minor side effects. That was a small price to pay for peace of mind, and we were starting to feel alive again. Then people decided to take their will back, and they didn't need to do that anymore. And the cases started spiking like crazy. 100% of the COVID beds at the biggest hospital in Miami are filled with unvaccinated people. 100%. Now you're taking away my freedom again because you're afraid or you heard some dumb crap. Come on, people. It's very easy. Go to Publix, go to Walmart, go to CVS, go to Walgreens, go whatever your personal little pharmacy down the street and get the shot and go on with your merry day. It's not a conspiracy. The side effects are minimal, if at all. And you're helping all of us protect those who can't. Bill Gates is not tracing you. Yes, I heard somebody say that. You are not that interesting, Tia. I'm telling you, Bill Gates is not tracing you. The vaccines do not cause infertility. They did not just come up with this vaccine last year. They have been working on this technology for over 20 years. That's why they were able to do it so quickly. It won't give you COVID. I can go on and on with these incredible misinformations that are being spewed all over social media, and people are believing them. And because of that, we are where we're at now. Please get vaccinated. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for someone else. Do it for someone that can't get a vaccine. Do it for a lung transplant patient that can't get the vaccine right now, or a young kid that can't get the vaccine right now because they're not letting kids get it yet. Get vaccinated. Do it today. Breakthrough cases, less than 1%, so you know. My wife was a breakthrough case. Okay, she takes a medication that lessens the effectiveness of the Pfizer vaccine. We didn't know she had COVID. We found out a week after. I laid next to her and got nothing because vaccines work. Now, she was a breakthrough case. That's 1%. That's less than 1% of our population will be breakthrough cases. Everybody says they're breakthrough cases. They're not. These are people who lied to you and told you that they were vaccinated when they weren't. And I'm encountering that a lot right now. Check your friends. If you have to, don't hang out with them. New York has just decided to not let people use the gym unless they are fully vaccinated. You will have to bring in your card to show proof that you're fully vaccinated. They will do the same for restaurants also. We should be doing the same thing all over the country. If you're not vaccinated, you don't get to play. Sorry, there's no room at my table. This may sound harsh, but I want my life back. Don't you? Get vaccinated today. If not for you, for the rest of us. Because you don't want to see an angry lesbian. I'm about to get all crazy up in here. Yo soy FayWhat. Thank you for always allowing me to be me. Please join me next week when we'll have another great show with fun guests and a lot of laughter, because you know how we do. I'm sending you love, peace, and happiness to each and every one of you. Lo quiero. Stay gay.